Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 22nd of November 2021, and the time now is 6:16 a.m. Yeah, today is a video review, and our topic today is genetically modified food. Right, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. And firstly, I got this topic because in our reading session, the book Eat the Beat Disease, and I saw that actually people can uh, make a change on gene and then can produce the foods. And then yeah, so I tried to find and then found that actually there are so many foods and also even including the plants and also the animals. Yeah, they are genetically modified. Yep, and then for example, in the video, the corn, yeah, which to be said is kind of genetically modified, and it was many years ago. It is like more than a few thousands years ago, and then the corn uh, previously they are just a kind of grass, and then they kind of make it to have make it to become corn after many years. Yeah, so I think this is quite amazing. They just kind of create a new food source. Yeah, this is very amazing. Yeah, and also it says that in the video, in the modern day, we don't have to use the old method to do this. Yeah, and we can just kick off with DNA, and then we just use the DNA, and then we can kind of like modify the foods. Yeah, and um, yeah, for this one, it could be like cisgenic and transgenic, which is like whether this thing is modified within the same species, and transgenics means that maybe it used the gene from other plants or animals. Yep, and either way, yeah, it is still called genetically modified food. And beside this, I also try to do some research and then to see what else in our life are actually genetically modified. Yeah, I mean food. Yeah, and after that, I found that there are some very common one, which is like the rice that many Asians consume every day. Yeah, I don't know what I think not all, but maybe some of the rice they are genetically modified. And then beside these we have the soy, and then papaya, and then some fish. Yeah, they are also uh, under this kind of process, which is genetically modified. Yep, and then some of the benefits of uh, genetically modified the food is uh, um, they can okay if it is if it is plants, it can actually help the plants to grow better, and for the farmer maybe they can get more they can get more use, and then they can uh, fight with the pest better, fight with the disease better. For people, we have to face the challenges of diseases, and for plants also, they are many kind of viruses, and then they have to fight with that. And one of the thing I saw is actually a kind of papaya which is called Hawaii papaya. And this kind of papaya actually is very delicious. Why? Because in my house I also have this kind of papaya. I grow it by my own, and then just before this conversation, I just found that this kind of papaya actually is genetically modified. Yeah, and no wonder I feel like this kind of papaya is more delicious than uh those usual ones sell in the market. Yeah, and uh yeah, for this one, it says that this kind of papaya actually they modify modify it because they want to fight with the pest. Otherwise, actually the papayas is very easily to got viruses. Yep. So this is one of the benefit of uh, modify them, and then look at the other aspect, which is the fish. Yeah, the fish, for example, salmon. Yeah, this kind of fish. They say that actually this kind of fish only start to grow in the summer and spring, if I didn't get it wrong, and then just two season, and then the other two season maybe they didn't grow so much, and but people want to have a stable supply of the fish, so they actually uh, modify them genetically, and then it makes the fish actually grow uh, uh, all years. Yeah, so 4 seasons we can get this kind of fish. Yep. So this is also one of other benefits of using genetical modification. Yep. And then one of the other benefit is, for example, rice that we consume. Some of the rice actually they modify them. They try to add in more nutrition to into this food, so that for example we can get more vitamin A by consuming rice than consuming those rice without modified. Yeah, so this is the other benefits, and I believe that this can be also applied on other foods. Yeah, not only in rice. So yeah, and these are the benefits, and also I also saw some uh, the opposite information, which is like some of the maybe is the disadvantage, or maybe is some uh, uh, critics, yeah, or what. And then some of the scientists they say that during their experiment they found that uh, it actually brings some negative impact to our health, and by consuming this kind of genetically modified food, and that those affairs basically is in the early 21st century. Yeah, and today is 20 years past, and I believe that maybe at the beginning, um, uh, they could have some risk, but I believe that until today it is maybe it is safer because we have higher technology to test the food and then to do more experiment. Yep. So yeah, and in general, I think in the future we're going to see more and more foods which are genetically modified, to get those benefits that I mentioned just now. Yep. So these are my sharings today.
And also one of the thing is just you say about the corns, right?
Yeah.
And is all corns look like that? Which we've seen in the video have only small fruits and uh big big leaf or grasses. Is all
Oh,
corns seem like that?
just like the grass, you mean?
Yeah, means maybe
Mm.
20 years ago, and only after we invented the methods, found the methods to uh, change to change the genetic,
Mm.
to change the genes or to transform the genes of the foods, and then we have the big fruit
Mm.
corns look like currently.
Um, about the corn, I think uh, are you mentioning the corn from grass or is already the corn? Because in the video it says that like before a few thousand years ago, uh, I'm not sure the whole world. Maybe it's the one of the region they don't have the corn, and corn is actually originate from a kind of grass, and then it's slowly it's slowly becoming corn.
Mm, mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is this is a natural mm, food, right? So it's not kind of like mm, adjust or the DNA is adjust or amended by the scientists in the lab, and
Um,
widespread become the common food, is it?
but my understanding is, according to video, it is like the farmer in the past, few thousand years ago, they kind of purposely um, make. I mean, it's maybe like through the I don't know the terms. It is like the flour powder. They uh, artificially they try to make the flower powder uh, um, join together. Maybe is from two plants, and then after that they kind of invented or started to change this kind of plant, and slowly and uh, it becomes the corn.
Yeah, and I wonder, mm, yeah, other foods which we seen in the video, for example, the duck pig, the pig
Mm,
uh, live under the duck line,
yeah.
and also the chicken without the, not sure whether the chicken still have wing.
Mm.
But I can see the chicken look very ugly, and
Without fur.
yeah, mm, and are those things really healthy?
Um, uh, yeah, I think those are very uncommon, right? I think they are just maybe under experiment, and I'm not sure whether they really make these become a food. The two example that you mentioned just
I think yes.
now.
Yeah.
um, are you sure? But the pig kind of they can glow, right? They can glow in the dark. But I haven't heard about this before.
Mm.
Hmm.
Do you know that there's a big portion of pig is actually import from US?
Um, big portion. I didn't know. I'm not aware of this.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and chicken also, I think.
Hmm. Yeah.
And even though without those methods, those transgenic methods,
Hmm.
and like the McDonald have a operate a big farm
Yeah.
and a big farms, and it feed the chickens. Uh, yeah, it overfeed the chicken, and it inject some chemical inside the chicken's body and let it grow faster.
Faster. Yeah.
And the meat uh, and the uh, and the
The chicken
meat
is fatter.
yeah and I mean the meat is greater,
Hmm.
and but the chickens cannot live long. And the chickens
Hmm.
is kind of like sick because they they have no chance to do exercise and
Hmm.
also
Yeah.
pass all the chemical injected inside to their body.
Too crowded in the farm.
So it's something like uh those chicken is become like the plant, yeah, and like the McDonald's or some farms, they farm the chicken, they grow the animal like a plant,
Mm,
mm. All
yeah.
become industrialization. Yeah, I mean, all become industrialized.
Mm, yeah. As well as the fish I mentioned just now, I think also many of them they are not so-called the wild fish in the sea, and many of them are genetically modified. They can grow faster.
Mm, yeah, and also one of the question is this is this is this same as, I mean, the genetical modified foods, is it same as the transgenic foods? For example, like the transgens soybeans.
Um, are you asking whether transgenic uh, modified food is also called genetic modified food?
Uh, yeah, or the other way
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Is all genetic? Is all genetically modified foods are transgen foods?
No, that we have two types. One is cisgenic, and one is transgenic.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Cisgenic, cis means same, yeah, in the video, which is like they maybe, for example, there are two type of, let's say, this is just my example, two type of papaya trees, and you can imagine that if one got viruses easily and the other didn't, and so they can kind of like to get the DNA to analyze why one of the papaya didn't get uh, virus, and then they get the type of papaya tree DNA and then maybe inject it to the other types of the papaya, so that both and so that the second type of papaya can also fight with the viruses.
So do you means, for example, uh, if let's say, for example, you are short and you want
Mm,
your child become taller, and then you find another partner which their height is uh is tall. You find a
mm,
tall partner, and then so hopefully, the child you give birth uh will like inherited the the genes that contains the greater height,
mm,
uh, the
yeah.
the taller. Is it like this?
I think yes, which is the main. I think that the main concept here is under the same species, and
Then
maybe
how
they
about the
have,
mm,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, how about the transgen?
Or transgenic, they use different species. For example, maybe you want to grow stronger, and then you want your baby to be stronger, muscular. Maybe you can get some DNA from the
Chimpanzees?
gorilla, yeah, yeah,
Oh my,
or some other species.
oh. I remember before, um one conversation in the why woman or man disappear. I mentioned, right. I did some research, and human cannot cannot get pregnant. Uh, it means that the human female cannot get pregnancies. Uh, by uh, sorry, I mean, the human female cannot get pregnant by by other
Sperm.
species. Yeah, yeah, about the sperm. So uh, yeah, so mm,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think they are
so
not using their sperm. Maybe they just kind of like I I don't know the process. Maybe uh, uh, maybe get some DNA injected to human sperm. Yeah, maybe it's like that.
What do you mean?
Because they kind of actually modify the DNA, right?
You mean
Uh,
the food?
not the food. I mean the example of humans, humans and gorilla.
Mm, mm. But human cannot give birth the gorilla child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean they are not using the gorilla sperm. They still use human sperm, but just like a few modification extract from gorilla and then injected to human sperm. I think I guess, yeah.
I'm quite confused. I don't understand what you are trying to say.
Um, yeah, because just now we're talking about transgenic, right? And which is the the kind of genetically modified under two species,
Mm-hmm.
two different species.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then just now you questioned whether this is like possible, right? Because in previous topics we said it is impossible between human and maybe other animals.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, so I guess maybe they are still using human sperm, but they kind of being able to get the DNA from other animals and then maybe inject it to humans one.
To give birth a human child.
Yeah, yeah.
But just now you say it's impossible. But why now become possible?
Um, yeah, but this is I don't know. Actually, I don't know whether this can be called the epigenetic, yeah, which is a term find in the also in the Eat to Beat disease book. If it is epigenetic, it means that we didn't actually change the code of our DNA. The sequence is also the same, but it kind of like delivers some of the message. And then one of the example is the giraffe. And in the past, the giraffe didn't have such a long neck, but after many years, the giraffe started to grow longer neck, and they found that this is not the sequence change. The sequence of the DNA didn't change. Uh, what is the difference is it is through epigenetic uh, process, and then there are some message uh, maybe attached in the DNA, and then it is you can imagine it is like the memory,
Yeah.
not for the animals but for the gene to produce a specific kind of protein, and then so that they can grow longer neck. So yeah, in this case, transgenic, I'm not sure whether they alter the DNA directly or they use those kind of epigenetic way to do that.
Mm, if if the epigenetic is something like your example, the
Mhm.
giraffe example, and nobody artificially uh pull out the neck of the giraffe, it is grow by itself. It is grow
Mhm.
by the gene itself.
Yeah,
So it's uh no other species, no other animal like human do it purposely. This is because the gene want to survive. So it grow
mm.
because it wants to suit the environment. Otherwise, the gene will die.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this one, the transgens or the the genetically modified foods, the
mm.
GM foods, is something like human do it purposely, right?
Yeah, human do it purposely, but I don't know whether this way they do is also use the epigenetic way.
Mm, why?
Because epigenetic way they didn't change the sequence of the code, and uh, they somehow like mix other. Yeah, actually, I don't know the details for this.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah. In my opinion, they are not the same thing.
mm, yeah.
And go back to my example,
Mm,
I actually want to say is uh this this is not possible for humans for giving a child between humans and chimpanzees or human and gorilla, and because they are different species, and also like human. mm, uh, do you know plant also have plant also have the have something like the sperm and also have something like the ovaries.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mm,
And another thing is, mm, if this is something human do it purposely, and I don't know, but I prefer natural foods. Yeah, for any kind of reason, even though we had 20 years proven uh track of records that not, this will not cause any significance, any noticeable damage to human body or human
mm,
mind. But I still prefer natural food.
mm,
And also, this link to the first question I asked you. For example, like the corns. Is all the corns? Mm, is a corn is something like we don't have this food initially,
yeah. Uh,
and then somebody, for example, a farmer, do it purposely so we have the corns, and then so it's something like, for example, the corns initially is just like the weed, just like the grasses, and nobody eat it, and farmer do it purposely and change it become a very very popular food.
mm,
Or actually, they uh they are corns, they are corns, and some corns are eatable, some corns are edible, some
mm,
corns are inedible, and then the farmers see this. Wow, this corn is very delicious, and why not we make those inedible corns become edible?
mm,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm also not sure.
yeah. If this is a case too, and uh, if this is a case too, I think I would prefer natural corns. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. But it seems like today's those uh, beautiful corn, and then more or less they modified it.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, they are so sweet. They are so beautiful, and maybe they can fight with the pest easily.
Yeah. So this is also another reason why the farmer want to do this.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. And also, for example, like the transgens soybeans,
Mm,
because soybean is very important food, no matter in US, no matter in Western country or in Asians. The Asian weight the soy more important because we have a lot of ingredients, a lot of food need the soil.
mm.
Mm. And and but you know how many percent the transgens soybeans uh in
Account
the
for.
world? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the figure. Do
Mm.
you?
I just did some very very quick research. This is like uh okay Yeah, I can't find it. I can't find it. Mm.
Mm,
But in my knowledge, not all the not all the soybean is transgenic soybeans. Mm. Because still got many people debate, and still uh some people against it, and they want that they want the the farm, or they want the some labs, and and a calf like turn down turn down um, the experiments, or turn down the 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 labs that grow the soybeans, that grow the transgenic soybeans. Yeah.
mm, yep. And also, I found that sugar, uh, many of the source of the sugar, maybe the sugar cane, uh, I get one information here. It is like it is estimated that 75% of let me see. Yeah. Yeah, just forget about this. Yeah, but there are certain percentage of sugar actually comes from those genetically modified source.
Mm, yeah. So if let you choose, for example, like the transgenic foods have greater nutrition, and
Mm.
also it's more tastier versus the natural foods. And which one will you prefer? And yeah, and also the transgenic foods is cheaper.
Mm. Yep, I think still if talk about food, I think I prefer it also to be safer, to be natural. Um,
Mm,
yeah. So
but this is tastier. This is more nutritious.
um, actually, people nowadays, actually, we can uh, get at least the basic level of nutrition, and we won't like suffer from lack of nutrition, this kind of things. We can also we still can get nutrition. Yeah,
Yeah.
we maybe we don't need so much. We also concerned about the negative impacts of
Mm,
many uncertain things we don't know.
but scientists tell you that based on their finding, there's no evidence to found that this actually is harmful for humans. The
Hmm.
transgenic food is harmful for humans.
Yeah, but if we think from like the aspect of why those kind of GE food comes
Mm,
out, and I think one of the reason is because making profit, they can
yes.
grow more, and then they can sell more, earn more,
Yeah.
and so just from this purpose, we know that if there are some disadvantage, yeah, they must kind of don't want to reveal it. They will just keep it as secret. Even some of the scientists have proved something, and because they have the mass media, they will like ban you. They will punish
Mm,
the scientists. So
yeah.
we couldn't know the real things.
Mm,
Yeah, just like the affair that I mentioned, that scientist actually got banned uh, uh, the same year, just published the experiment results. And they say they kind of like the scientists use an uncompleted experiment result and then show it to the public. So they say this is not a correct way to do things. And so
mm,
they banned him. And actually, this scientist did explain that if his experiment is not completed, yeah, that must be like already 99% complete.
mm,
So you can see what the scientists want to say. Actually, there are some disadvantage. There are some negative impact, even though maybe it is just a very little, but they kind of like don't want this to expose.
Mm. And also the capitalists mm, who grow all the crops or who grow all the edible animals, and they are the big capitalists, and they can influence the mass media, they can
Mm,
influence the politicians.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All those magazines say corns are nutritious, right?
Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So to me, I still prefer natural foods. I still prefer organic foods, mm,
Mm,
no matter what reasons.
yeah, yeah. I'm quite disappointed that Hawaiian papaya is genetically modified.
Uh, um, yeah, I still prefer natural foods. You also prefer natural food, but we live in a situation, we live in a world that we can't avoid all of these genetically modified foods because we have no knowledge on it. Yeah,
Mm,
this is the most frustrating part because
yeah,
we now we can't know uh the whether the food is really safe to our human body, to our body in long term.
mm,
And we need to believe, we need to believe other organization, other
yeah,
other big corporations to believe they are acting good and they didn't put our health at risk.
mm,
But they are corporation. Their main purpose is profit.
yeah,
Mm. Yeah, of course. I'm not talking about corporation is bad, capitalist is bad. Yeah, and without them, we don't have a lot of products.
yeah,
For example, you can't build your car. You can't build a car. Uh, no matter how much time given to you,
mm,
100 years, 200 years, you can't build your car by your own. You
yeah,
just can't do it. But when it comes to the foods, we can grow the foods by ourselves. Mm,
mm,
mm, yeah. So yeah, so it actually can link to many things. For example, mm, for example, you pursue freedoms. You pursue financially independence, so that after that you can take uh take take over the control. Yeah, and you can take back the control of your life. You can choose what you want to eat,
mm,
even though the organic food is very expensive, but you can grow it by yourself. Maybe you just need to figure out. You just need to buy the organic seeds that you did some research and found that this is really organic seeds, and then you buy the seed and then you grow from it. Although you'll fail, but eventually you'll success,
mm,
and you'll find the way of doing things which is some foods couldn't grow. You just couldn't figure out. You just can't uh figure it out, and then you grow other foods, and then you combine other foods, we can give you the same nutrition, the nutrition.
mm, yeah,
Yeah, and maybe some of the food you still need to buy from markets. Yeah, but you can evaluate the cost and benefits. And also, if you don't have so much time, if you want to focus on some other things, you don't want to spend most of your time in farming, and you can grow some simple foods and nutritious, and then so that you are not over relying on the markets, on the corporation that provide you all the ingredient, all the groceries.
mm, yeah,
Mm, yeah. Okay. I don't have anything want to add in.
mm, yeah. Me too.
Okay. So that's all for today's conversation. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake we made, please also comment to let us know, because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like, subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.